Hello, I'm Jillian King Cargyle. I'm the author of the Stuffed Bunny Science series of books, and today I'm going to read you The Toy and the Twister. One hot, humid day, a stuffed bunny named Bear sat in the sandbox playing with his favorite boy, Jack. The sky was yellow and hazy, the air was thick with heat, and Bear was glad that he was made of cool fabric fluff instead of plastic. "Bear," Jack yelled, "count down to adventure!" Jack scooped Bear up in his arms and ran to the middle of the yard. Bear knew that when Jack started counting down, something fantastic was about to happen. 3, 2, 1, blast off! Jack launched Bear straight up into the air. The breeze blew gently through Bear's floppy fabric ears and ruffled his puffball tail. "I'm an astronaut! I'm headed to the moon!" Bear cried. But Jack didn't hear him because Bear could only speak toy. Bear saw dark clouds approaching. The clouds hung so low that he thought he could almost reach them and pull some puffy gray mist into his paw. But gravity had other plans, and Bear fell into Jack's waiting arms where he always felt safe. Jack threw Bear again and again. The little stuffed bunny pretended he was a flying trapeze artist, a skydiver, a fighter pilot. But around Bear and his boy, the sky grew greeny blue and grumbly with thunder. Jack's older sister, Sophie, called from the porch, "There's a tornado warning, Jackie. Mom says you have to come inside." Jack and Bear ran farther into the yard. "I'm not Jackie, I'm NASA Mission Control, and I'm sending you to Mars. I'm going to be the first bunny on Mars," Bear cheered. "Jack, get inside," Sophie yelled. "Negative. Conditions are favorable for launch." Jack yelled back. He started his Mission Control countdown. 10, 9, 8. A wailing sound filled the air. "The tornado siren. We have to launch early." Jack hugged Bear. "Good luck, friend." Jack threw Bear as high as he could. Bear soared into the approaching storm. Before he could land safely in Jack's arms, Sophie grabbed Jack. "I have to get Bear," Jack yelled. "We have to get to the basement." Sophie dropped her Sadie Scientist doll to the ground and pulled Jack into the house. "Jack, don't leave me," Bear yelled. But his tiny toy voice was drowned out by the siren and the wind. Bear flopped to the ground. He was outside all alone. "I'm done for," he cried. A small plastic hand yanked him by the ear. "You're not done for, Fluff Brain." It was Sophie's Sadie Scientist doll. "Did you get left outside too?" Bear asked. "Of course not. Sophie and I are conducting a weather experiment." The clouds around them started to swirl. "A funnel cloud," Sadie cheered. Frozen chunks of hail pelted the ground. "Assume the storm position," she cried. Sadie crouched down and folded her jointed plastic arms over her head. "Why?" Bear asked. "To protect your head, Fluff Brain." Bear did as he was told, and the hail thudded off his fabric. Sadie yelled over the storm. "The best place to be in a storm is a basement or the bathroom on the lowest floor of the house." Bear wished he was safe inside with Jack. In the field behind Jack's yard, the storm cloud seemed to reach down to touch the earth with a pointy, swirling finger. "We're about to get swept up into the tornado," Sadie yelled. Sadie grabbed one of Bear's floppy ears. "How well is this stitched on?" Before Bear could answer, Sadie knotted his ear around her arm, and the twirling twister lifted the two of them into the air. Bear and Sadie flew through the air, turning around and around with the dirt and branches the storm had ripped out of the field. The tornado was loud, like thunder that wouldn't stop thundering. Some of the shingles from Jack's roof went flying toward Bear, but he breathed a sigh of relief as the tornado veered away from Jack's house. "This is scientastic," Sadie yelled. "We're actually in the vortex." "The what?" "The column of spinning air that makes up a tornado, Fluff Brain." Now that Jack was safe, Sadie's excitement started to rub off on Bear. "We're going race car fast," he yelled. Sadie looked at the debris flying around them. "The storm isn't strong enough to pick up cars or pull trees out of the ground. I'm guessing it's a weak tornado, an EF1 on the enhanced Fujita scale." "I'm getting dizzy now," groaned Bear. "You should be," Sadie yelled. "We're spinning super fast, like water circling a bathtub drain." "Jack doesn't take me in the tub," said Bear. "I'm too fluffy." Bear missed his boy and was ready for the storm to be over. All of a sudden, the winds died down and blew away. Gravity took over, and Bear and Sadie started to fall. Sadie screamed, "Fluff Brain, I'm scared. I'm hard plastic. I'm done for." "You're not done for," Bear said. He wrapped his paws around Sadie. Bear held her on his fluffy tummy. They plopped to the ground and bounced safely back into Jack's yard. Thanks for saving me, Bear. Bear smiled at his new friend. Maybe I'll see you around the sandbox sometime, Sadie said. Sophie strode over and shook Sadie's little plastic hand. Another successful experiment. Bear, Jack yelled. The boy ran to his bunny and pulled him into his arms. Water squished out of Bear's fluffy stuffing and soaked into Jack's shirt. Did you make it to space? Did you touch Mars? I was a race car driver, a storm chaser, a scientist, Bear cheered. Bear knew that Jack didn't speak toy, but he was sure his boy understood. Jack carried Bear back into the house to get him cleaned up and ready for their next adventure. The end. I hope you enjoyed the book. It's part of the Stuffed Bunny Science Adventure series, and you can learn more and find cool games and activities related to this and other books on STEMread.com. Thanks for listening.